All right, let's get started. The first question is going to be, how savvy tech are you? I mean, what electronic gadgets do you use in your everyday life? Actually, I think I have those gadgets most people have. For example, I never go out without my cell phone. Sometimes I carry my iPad with me, and I also have a laptop and my desktop. And I'm pretty used at using them, so I consider myself like a really savvy tech or a tech savvy. Do you ever have technical problems with your gadgets? Yes, all the time, especially with my laptop. It's breaking down all the time. It's usually has some glitch every now and then, and I think I have like technical problems with them every now and then. Now, what about your cell phone? Do you know how to fix it? If if we're talking about like a serious problem, I don't. I don't know how to fix my cell phone, and when that happens, I usually have a technician fix it. But if it is something like the battery needs charging or something, I can fix it myself. But if we're talking about a serious problem like with a display or something, I can't. I don't know how to do it. Now, how about the internet? Do you know how much it costs to download files off the internet? Well, I don't really know how much it costs to download files off the internet. However, I think it's not that expensive, especially if it is something like SONs or PDF files. It's I mean, it can be that expensive, but honestly, I don't know how much it costs to download files off the internet. Speaking of that, do you have any idea what the three most common languages on the internet are? Well, I'm not 100% sure what the three most commonly spoken language on the internet are. However, I have read that the most common languages on the internet are English, of course, Japanese, and Chinese. And I think Spanish is the fourth most commonly spoken language in the internet. Can you guess what percent of email is spam? Well, maybe more than 50%, but I have no idea what percent of email is spam. I guess it's like 60 or 50%. Now, I took some great shots, some great pictures on my last vacation. Cool. Do you have any idea how I can put them on the web? Well, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is create a Facebook account, for example, a Facebook profile. And once you're there, you just have to follow the directions to upload your pictures from your computer or your camera on your Facebook profile. It's pretty easy. I can show you how to do it. Can you tell me which website I can use to download music? Sure, you can use, for example, Ares. It's one of the most commonly used software to download music off the internet. You can also use iTunes Catcher. It's pretty easy. Do you know how to search for songs? Well, the first thing you need to do is have like a software such as Ares, for example, or iTunes Catcher, and then you just type in the name of the song you want to download and click on download, and that's it. It's pretty easy. It's a no-brainer. All right. Now I'm gonna mention some situations, some problems I have with things around the house. Appliances. Just listen to the situations, okay, and tell me what I can do about it. What I can do to fix them up. Okay. Okay. Good. I got it. Let's see. For example, I don't know what's wrong with my cell phone. It won't turn on. Well, maybe you need to charge it. Maybe it needs charging, or maybe you need to plug it in to see if it is working properly. Okay. Another problem I'm having is that my CD player doesn't seem to be working right. Can you tell me what the problem might be? Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I mean, if it is a new one, uh, probably you have to check if it is properly plugged in. You need to plug it in to see, maybe that's the problem. It's, you need to plug it in first. And another thing is, if you have the skill, you can take it apart and take a look inside and see what might be wrong with your CD player. But if I were you, I would just check if I plug it in correctly, and then if it is something more serious, you might wanna take it to a technician or something like that. Okay, now, what's the first thing you turn on in the morning? Well, the first thing I turn on in the morning is the light, in the bedroom, the lamp. Then my computer. I usually like to. I usually check my email right after I wake up, and I like to see what's going on around the world, what's new. And then, well, my cell phone. I never turn my cell phone off, but also the TV. That's something I usually turn on right after I get up in the morning. So that's it: the lamp, the TV, and my laptop, my computer. Good. And what other things do you turn on when you wake up in the morning? Hmm. Well, I don't know. Sometimes when I feel like listening to some music or listening to the radio, I turn the CD player on just to listen to the radio or to listen to some music for a while. Okay. And what do you usually do to save electricity at home? Well, to save electricity, I just try to turn all the lights off. Those lamps that we're not using, I just try to turn them off. I like to unplug all the appliances that we're not using. That's pretty much what I do to save electricity at home. And what different things do you plug in during the day? Well, I like to drink natural juice, like passion fruit and guava juice. So throughout the day, I usually plug in the blender. Do you always turn your cell phone off before class? Well, honestly, I never turn my cell phone off. What I do is I just turn the volume down just in case I get an coming call, and I don't want to disturb the class. But I never turn my cell phone off. Sometimes when I'm taking a final exam or something, I turn it off. But just in those cases. But I usually never turn it off in class. Okay, and where else do you turn your cell phone off? What else? Well, maybe at the movie. When I go to the movies with my friends and everything, I I'd rather turn my cell phone off, because sometimes you're there watching a movie or seeing a movie. You don't want to give people a hard time with testing and getting phone calls in the middle of the movie. So I usually turn my cell phone off when I go to the movies. Now, what do you do when the garbage can is full? What do you do with the garbage? Well, I just throw it away, take it out or throw it away. Okay, and now, if you have an important document in a memory stick, in a USB, and you have to hand it to your teacher, what do you have to do? Well, if I don't have like my laptop handy or a computer, I just print it out, and then I show the teacher what I did. I just print the document out. And what do you do when your books are all over the floor, when your books are scattered all over your bedroom? Well, that happens to me all the time. And what I do, I just put them away. That's okay. Now, let's talk about identity thief and how to keep your personal financial information safely, all right? First of all, what's an identity thief? What is that? What's an identity thief? Well, an identity thief is someone, it's actually a thief, who is like trying to steal your personal information, like your credit card number, your password, or your PIN, in order to steal your money. Usually they do that in order to steal the money you got in the bank, or everything they might get on the internet, using computers or duplicating your debit or your credit card. So that's what an identity thief is. Someone who is always trying to steal your personal information, like passwords or things like that, in order to steal the money you have in the bank. Or maybe, some important information you have stored in your computer or something. Good. What should you do when you want to throw away your credit card statements? Well, before throwing them away, it's a good idea to thread it, like tear it apart, because just in case these guys reach my credit card statements, it will be very difficult for that person to read the information that is on them, because I have to thread it first or tear it apart. Okay, and why do identity thieves go through people garbage? Why do they search? Why do they look into people garbage? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Some people, they are kind of like stupid. They don't pay attention to what I do, and they throw all this important and confidential information into the garbage can. So sometimes they don't use like a very hard to decipher password, and they, for example, they use their birthday date, and these guys, the identity thief, they know that they might probably get this information on those paper you throw into the garbage. So that's what they look through. They look through the garbage that you throw into the garbage can, trying to get some information that allows them to have access to your information. Good. Now, why is it a bad idea to call your bank from your cell phone when you are in a public place? Well, it's a pretty bad idea because you never know who's around you, and this guy, they are expert, trying to pretending, that being casually around you. So sometimes when you're making a phone call in public and you are like giving away some information to your bank, they might be like listening to your conversation and maybe writing down whatever you're saying and trying to get as much information as possible in order to steal your money, in order to steal your information and have access to whatever they can. Okay, how about shoulder surfers? What do they do? What do shoulder surfers do? Well, these are people who every time you are, or they suspect that you are typing or using some password or your personal information to, or for example, at an ATM machine or something, or in the bank, they just look over your shoulder, like trying to get information from you. And I'm telling you, they are pretty expert at pretending doing something else, but what they are actually doing is trying to get as much information from you as possible, so that later on they can access your bank account or some other personal information they might be interested in. So that's what they do. Okay, and why shouldn't you use your birthday date as your PIN or password? Well, because that's something pretty easy to decipher, something pretty easy to guess. So, and that is one of the first thing this identity thief try to use when they want to steal your money from the bank. They try to use as much of your personal information as possible. So it's a better idea to use random numbers, numbers that are not related at all to your birthday dates or stuff like that. So it's a better idea to use random numbers. Okay, one last question. Who would you give your PIN to? Well, if I ever had to give my PIN to someone, that would definitely be my wife. Just in case something happens to me and she needs to withdraw some money from the ATM, or run some errands for me or something, I would definitely give my password or my PIN to my wife. That would be that's the only person I trust enough as to give my PIN and my password. That's it.